what you have described in my own experience and perhaps the experience of other people are the fundamental principles of conscious co-creation.
Yes.
And this is not yet quantified by science, although we're getting there. So thank you so much for doing it in such a skillful way. And I'm really glad you're here. And we have a little bit of time because we're going to go to break in a few minutes. Anyone who would have anything that they'd like to share with Patty, and she is in our speakers page, you can connect with her. And if you go VIP, you'll have the opportunity to connect with her and share her wonderful gifts that she's brought to the summit. So, if you'd like to share, we're going to leave the recording on. Go ahead and you can just unmute. You want to be more formal, you can use the reaction button to raise a hand. But let's dive in and have a conversation.
That does make sense, bringing all of you into any given situation. Like I'm playing with how to get my mind and body on board with travel is fun and exciting.
Yeah, it's just a matter of really thinking about what it is that you want. And when you get that thought into your mind and you just keep thinking it over and over, it becomes that burning desire that Napoleon Hill talked about. And when it turns into a burning desire, it's not a matter of if you're going to have it, it's a matter of when.
Absolutely. And some of these things that we have a burning desire to do take years for us to actually um, reorganize and make it possible, because it's our DNA that is really running that show. What your burning passion is and your desire, your purpose in life is actually encoded in your DNA. And so the more conscious you are about how you co-create using your genetics and using your DNA and doing the exercises that can be done to connect at that level with yourself, then you're sending clear information. Not only is the information clear inside of you, you start to actually broadcast it with clarity outside of you, and that's frequency. So one of the things that I wanted to share, because I loved your story about the spinning plates and that you were feeling that something was going to just come out of balance, wobble, and crash. And I think it's important for us to know that while we can gain a tremendous amount with self care and personal mastery and personal development, there are frequencies that actually come into us from outside. And if we don't have clear, conscious boundaries about what we will allow to come inside of us and what we won't, you can often end up where there's an interference pattern in your frequency that you're not necessarily able to identify or be conscious of or even track where it's coming from, which does become possible over time. Now, it's about future, past, and present all being understood as one dynamic moment, so you can change your focus and look in any one direction and experience that. But Patty, I would like if you would share with us when you found that moment happening. You did this exercise that you told us about, but can you describe the moment where you could feel the shift, where you knew?
Mm-hmm. So, yes. And, years ago, I'd have just been like that the entire day, before I understood any of this. But yes, I can tell you, as soon as I started to trace my finger around my picture of my dream and my goal, and then I read out my goal and then I wrote my goal. I mean, everything I did started to make a shift. And then the final shift was reading that chapter with my accountability partner. It was like every time, and you can feel it inside of you. You can feel that shift happening if you're aware, if you pay attention. You can feel how you are setting yourself up. So I knew as soon as I woke up in the morning, I had to do something because I was not feeling the way I wanted to feel. And, I had to shift it. And I had to get to that point where I was at peace and calm. because otherwise my whole day would have been just a mess. And, you know, some people don't understand that. And my husband used to drive to work with a guy who, you know, if he dropped the soap in the morning, then that just started a whole series of things that just went wrong. And he couldn't get off of that. And you have to learn, you know, when you're not in the right vibration, you're not feeling the way you want to feel, what can you do to change it? For me, that's the technique I think is best. Some people maybe just reading something that inspires them. Maybe it's a piece of music that you listen to, because that can work too. You can shift your vibration many different ways. For me, this is the way I get the most peace, is to just go back to my goal and what it is and get that focus back on what I want instead of all this garbage that was going on in my life that I did not want.
I really, really love that, and especially that different methods work for different people. And one of the things that I was so excited about in putting this summit together, because I use sound, actually before there's light, there's sound. Light is a function of sound. Light is a down step from the frequency of sound. And so to speak, like reading with your accountability partner and using your voices in focusing your energy together, where two or more are gathered in consciousness and focus and clarity, really cool things can happen. So it's sound, it's light, it's listening. In Paige's instance, she described movement and dance. And all of these are part of how you get to where Patty's information kicks in and it becomes what you would describe as a new way of being. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out with you, and you want to get Patty's gifts, because the 30 days to a new me, yeah?
To better me. Mm-hmm.
Better me. Oh, better new, any way you want to describe it. Do you know that your gut, your stomach, your intestines, especially your stomach, all of this is replaced and regenerated every 30 days. And so when we look at the importance of your probiotic biome in your stomach and in your intestinal tract, please connect the fact that if you make those changes, and it includes adding really good, nutritious, nutrient-rich food and probiotics into your plan that you could work with and your strategy with Patty, you're giving your gut balance the information that this is how you want your cellular organization to reform and reframe and follow through on your idea or your goal, where you want to go, what you see yourself doing. So I wanted to pop that in because we've got to connect all of our dots. And I think that's an important dot, that we got to remember that, you know, certain parts of our bodies replace themselves on a regular basis, and not a lot of people know about the stomach and the intestinal tract. Anybody else got any thoughts or contributions or perspectives? Okay.
We've had a lot of conversation about how body systems and energy systems work and the microbiome.
Absolutely. And in Paige's circumstance, another part of how she was able to bring her wholeness back into a place where she could remember and feel it included therapeutic horseback riding.
That too, and that's my VIP gift, is that audio interview with my therapeutic horseback riding instructor.
Right. So I'm encouraging everybody to take the opportunity to do the VIP upgrade, get all the gifts from all of our speakers. We have a full roster of speakers, more today, more tomorrow. And I'm happy because Patty lives in my state. We're kind of sort of neighbors, which is amazing. Yeah, not too far. And so this is, again, the feeling of strength in community when you have these kinds of beautiful resources. We do these summits because we want people to know the resources are available and where to find them and how to connect and who to connect with. So once again, Patty, thank you so much.